Hey Lions, hope you are well. Today we're having a look at USD CAD currency trade I placed on my VIP trading signals group, and also how I made $1,200 by adding another trade following my own signals. I will also discuss how I potentially lost an opportunity to make 250 grand within 24 hours. It's quite insane. Let's begin this video. Enjoy. So to begin this video, I'm gonna put in some context. Basically, this is the USD CAD trade that I sent on my VIP trading signals. If we have a look over here, this is my premium trading group, USD CAD currency pair, 11th of March. We send this trade out. So myself and all of our members, we opened our trade somewhere around this area zone, and the trade went towards the downside, as you can see, over 150 pips profit. This is very nice to see. That's what we like to see. So what do we do? Why did I enter this trade around this area? Looking at this trade generally, right, it has been trending towards the downside. If we have a look on the 4-hourly time frame, you know, if we just zoom out a little bit, as you can see, it has just been straight up going down, right? So the overall bias straight away, at least on the 4-hourly time frame, is to shoot towards the downside, right? That's the overall bias. So what was happening on the 4-hourly time frame? Look, there was a nice squeeze pattern. As you can see, this was the initial squeeze. Every time it touched these area zones over here that I'm marking, it went towards the downside, right? So we know that this trend line, you know, towards the downside is highly respected. We also noticed that in this area zone, it started to respect this horizontal area of sensitivity, right? So this horizontal area of sensitivity becomes a squeeze pattern. Price or the candlesticks, whichever way you want to look at it, started to squeeze from this area zone, right? Pushed upside, downside, and every time it started to respect it. So after a squeeze pattern, there's usually two scenarios. It either shoots towards the upside, breaking the initial downtrend and starting a new trend potentially towards the upside, or continuing its initial bias and it's trending towards the downside. And this is what we saw, you know, it started to trend towards the downside. We entered our trade with a bearish engulfing candlestick over here. If we just use the replay tool real quick, we can see it a little bit more clearer. As you can see, this is the one candlestick that we had. It also made a new lower low. So I also knew that this could be a very, very nice trade, right? Because it made a new lower low. It never has been this low. As you can see, previously bounced back. But if you look at this candlestick over here, it's much lower than all of these, you know, candlesticks. So it's the previous new lower low. All the moving averages are above it, which shows, you know, bearish pressure. It's also a bearish engulfing candle breaking a new area of support, which now becomes resistance. Probably a good trade towards the downside, right? So all the analysis on the 4-hourly time frame you could have done and potentially profit 150 pips if you entered this trade, right? But this is not the only thing that I did. You know, I had to have a look at the monthly time frame. You know, all the time I'm looking whether it's trending towards the upside, downside, what's going on, right? So it recently broke out. Well, I say recently, a couple of months ago. This is the monthly time frame, but moving averages, as you can see, are above now the candlesticks. It broke this a little area zone over here, which was previously respected. As you can see, kind of a big horizontal area of sensitivity over here, shooting towards the upside. Now he has broken this. Potentially there's an area of sensitivity here, although unlikely. This is why we saw, you know, a push exhaustion to the previous area of sensitivity of this one and then go towards the downside. So now we're gonna have, you know, an area of support around this level, which means that the market has pretty much space to move towards the downside even more on the monthly time frame, which shows, you know, it's a good trade towards the downside. We're gonna have a look at the weekly time frame. As you can see, trending towards the downside, absolutely lovely, always making new lower lows even to this point. As you can see, the candlestick is making a new lower low, which is what you want to see, which is what you like to see as well. So let's go to the daily. As you can see, daily trending towards the downside. Previous respected level was this one. So on the daily time frame, so this is why you put your take profit 1, 2, and 3 level not below this area, because potentially it could be a nice support. This is the previous lowest level it has ever been. So the logical thinking is, if the banks push towards the downside, towards this area zone, then there's going to be a lot of buy orders, right? People will start buying in around this area to shoot towards the upside once again, because the markets move like this all the time, or nearly all the time. So push, exhaustion, maybe towards the area of sensitivity, maybe towards the moving averages, maybe towards the trend line that we have. We don't know this answer as of yet, but we know potentially it could turn around. That's why you put your take profit level not below this area zone, because we don't know whether it's going to be respected or not. We can never know that. So what we do, we just go with the banks. You know, we know probably it's going to bounce off this level, so we want to take all our money in that level as well. And as you can see on the 4-hourly time frame, if we played this tool, it went towards the downside very nicely. And I always do take profit 1, 2, and then the third level a little bit lower, as you can see 150 pips or something like that, in case it does break this previous area level that I just talked about. If it does, more than likely it's going to have a push. As you can see, push, look at this. If we just mark this horizontal area of sensitivity, push, exhaustion to the previous area sensitivity, push again to retest this level. It made the new lower low. Very likely it's going to bounce or off the moving averages, or maybe pull back once again to this strong area of resistance near the trend line that we had and go towards the downside. We don't exactly know what's going to happen, but this is the most likely scenario, right? So this was a nice trade with our VIP members, but what I actually want to show you guys is a trade I placed again on USD CAD currency pairs. You can see it's in profit, nearly $1,200, which is very nice indeed. This is the USD CAD currency pair. It was nearly touching my take profit level, although it's bouncing back now, probably retesting this area level. I'm gonna keep this trade running for now, but as you can see, this trade scenario is a little bit different, but similar in a sense, you know. And the reason why I'm doing this video is basically you can copy my trades and enter once again if you believe the trend will continue. You obviously need to analyze it yourself a little bit, but it just made sense to do that, right? So I entered this USD CAD trade around this area zone. I believe it was last few minutes it was going up and down, and I thought, okay, it's probably gonna be a bearish engulfing candle, and it was. I did manage to enter the trade a little bit earlier. As you can see, the candlestick close was a little bit pulled back, but it doesn't matter. The next candle just dropped like crazy, and it was a nice trade towards the downside. Very profitable, 92 pips profit. As I said, $1,200 easily within 5 days time. And basically I used my own signal analysis to reanalyze this trade, and I thought, okay, it's probably trending towards the downside. Since I already analyzed this trade, I know the initial outcome is probably a continuation or push towards the downside, and this is what happened. You know, we had a push, we had an exhaustion, bearish engulfing candlestick. We entered the trade around this area zone, push towards the downside very nicely. More than likely the same scenario over here, push again near the moving averages, probably gonna go towards the downside. So this was my trade scenario basically on USD CAD. If you wanted to find out how I placed this trade, obviously draw all the horizontal areas of sensitivity. I'm trying to make this video pretty quick. If you wanna find how I draw areas of sensitivity, you can just search on my YouTube channel. There's a ton of videos how I properly analyze the markets. But basically you draw areas, support, resistance, you know, a mid-range zone as well, and then go through, you know, everything from the monthly to the weekly to the daily and then 4-hourly basis, and eventually you will find everything. If it's trending towards the downside, initial bias is towards the downside, the logical thinking is probably going to continue, so you just trade with the trend. Bearish engulfing candle as confirmation, pretty damn good. Obviously check out the fundamental news as well, because I always do it, and I use fxstreet.com for that, and you will be able to make some money. Also, we have not lost a trade yet on our VIP trading signals for around 2 weeks now, maybe even more, probably 2.5 weeks we haven't lost a trade. So we are banging signals out like crazy, and this was the last trade we actually placed on Euro Japanese yen. As you can see, it's pushing towards the upside very nicely. Hopefully it reaches our take profit 1 very soon, and then we can just move our stop loss to entry or near it somewhere to make a lot of profit once again. Also, if you're into cryptocurrency, if you like trading cryptocurrency or just buying currency in general, I'm currently buying Mana, which is Decentraland currency. It's amazing. There's a game based on it. Basically it's all about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and I suggest people buy this because I believe it will skyrocket towards the upside. Funny story, as you can see, this wick, look how big this wick is. Obviously there was a pump and dump, but what I wanted to do is actually, I was speaking to a friend of mine just recently, and I said, oh, I should invest in Decentraland, you know, like 50 grand. and he told me I'm mental, you know, don't invest 50 grand because you will lose all your money. And I wanted to invest somewhere around this area zone over here where it was around 50 a cent. And as you can see, if I invested this a day later, it shot towards the upside to $2.40, and I could have potentially made 250 grand within 1 day's time. That would have been a banger video. However, I missed that opportunity and I invested the next day later. So hey, that happens, but just wanted to tell you this cool story, how I lost 250 grand potentially. And anyway, guys, if you do enjoy my videos, make sure to smash that like button. Suggest some video topics. I'm struggling to think some of the video topics. I did so many videos, I don't know what I should talk about next. So make sure to leave a comment down below and I'll make sure to read it and make a video on it to help you guys out. If you want to join my VIP, link down below, and take care, guys. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe, Lions, and goodbye.